What's going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about how the Olympic Games are dying and are just about dead. Let's go! Alright guys, I don't know about you, but I have not been watching the Olympics. I literally might see some highlights on Instagram or TikTok or on YouTube or something, but I haven't turned on my TV and gone, I want to watch the Olympics. Now, I know I'm not like everyone, I don't represent everyone, but I don't know about you, but I've sensed this feeling of, why, I don't care. And some of you might be thinking, oh, it's because the Olympics have gone woke, or it's become more of a political statement, or Paris just kind of sucks. And while all those are true, I don't think that's why it's dying. I want to give you a few examples of things that have been dying, but while they were happening, nobody ever thought that. And just so you know, the viewership since 2012 has gone down. I'm looking right now at a graph. In Beijing 2008, there was about 3.5 billion global views. And a view is anyone that watched for a minute. Like, that's it. All right? 3.5, it actually went up in London 2012 to 3.6. It dropped in 2016 to 3.2, and then in Tokyo it dropped down to 3.05. All right, so the viewership has been going down, and none of those previous Olympics had anything to do with transgender weird stuff or any of that stuff. The viewership has just been going down over the years because we don't care, because I think at the end of the day, we're coming to this reality that we don't have any kind of association with the Olympics. They don't mean to us what they used to mean to people in the past. In the past, I actually think that they represented a certain amount of charisma, or we liked our nations. Even like if our nation was somewhat corrupt, we didn't know as much about the corruption, so we actually enjoyed our nation, we rooted for our nation. I don't think we like our nations anymore. Like, I love America, but I don't feel like most Americans are proud of America. And that could be good or bad. But I think with the more information that we have, and the more biased information that we have, I think we kind of go, we're not as pure as we thought we were. In the past, there was like just ABC News, NBC News, CNN was kind of rising, Fox News was rising. There was MSNBC, but those were kind of it, and they were rooting for us. But now we know all these stories about all these different athletes and their political views and social media and all that stuff, and I think we're kind of just like over it. We don't want to care about it, and we don't care about these athletes that we are now finding the truth out. Most of them were on steroids. Like 40% of the athletes that are there are on steroids. And so do you really want to watch something that you know is not probably true? Or in the back of your mind you're going, they're probably on steroids. The other part of it is, like, we really watch for a few sports, and the rest of the sports are kind of like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Like, when was the last time you cared, and I know we're talking about the Winter Olympics, but when was the last time you cared about a person rolling like a bowling ball type thing down some ice while some people swept the ice? I think over time you're like, oh, that's interesting, but now you're like, who cares? You don't. What you care about is track and field. You might care about the wrestling. You might care about the weightlifting. But really, when I think about the Olympics, I think about the track and field events. That's kind of it. And those are not like, that's just a fraction. Now, something might go really viral, like the guy who shoots a gun with just his glasses on, and that's kind of cool. But at the end of the day, there's not one bit that makes me want to turn it on. Now, the woke stuff will make me go, yeah, I really don't want to watch it now. But let me just share with you a few other things that have actually been dying, but we didn't know, and I'll tell you why. All right, first one, Blockbuster. I don't know if you know, there's like one Blockbuster left, and the only reason it's there is because it is the only one left, so people literally travel there for like memory's sake. But what killed Blockbuster? Was it Netflix? Technically, yes, but if you're a millennial, you remember Blockbuster, and you remember going to Blockbuster, picking out a video, renting it, rewinding it, and coming back and returning it. It was kind of like this thing, you got popcorn, all that stuff. But before Netflix came along, you hated Blockbuster, right? You knew you were gonna be late, you had fees, you went up there not knowing if your video was gonna actually be there, the movie you wanted to watch, so you would drive up there, find out it's not there, then spend the rest of your time looking at movies you never cared about and renting something that wasn't all that great, but then you're stuck with it, then you pay it, then you have to rewind it, and if you don't rewind it, you get a non-rewinding fee, and then you're paying a late fee. So you walk out of there paying $10. Now, if you rented 2 movies, it's even worse. And then if you sent somebody up there like my dad to go rent Casper the Ghost, he came back with like the 50s cartoon, so you didn't even get the one that you wanted. So when Netflix came along, it was like we were waiting for something, but we didn't know how that something was gonna show up. We had no idea. So when it showed up, we were like, whoa, this is great. This is exactly what I wanted. No late fees. I select the movies. They get mailed to me. And I know some of you are like, mail? What are you talking about? This is before they went completely digital, right? And so as long as you returned them, you could then get your next one, or you could just have them show up every month a certain amount. It was awesome, but they met a serious pain point. All right? The same thing goes for Walmart. None of us liked going to Walmart. To us, it was dying, it was dead. But it was all we had, so that's all we did is watch it. Now, you might be going like, Walmart's not dead, they do billions every quarter. Of course. But from that pain point, we don't really think about Walmart, we avoid Walmart, and the only reason we go to Walmart is if we absolutely have to. Right? Amazon comes along, more convenient, and all of a sudden we've got this multi-billion dollars a quarter business that feels like it came out of nowhere. But it didn't. We hated Walmart beforehand. Walmart was dead to us. We just didn't have any options, right? So we could go down the line, Facebook, everything. There's something that's going to come and replace the Olympics. We just don't know what it is. Now I know there's been some talk about the enhanced games, and we'll see, but it doesn't solve the main problem, I don't think. And everyone likes to predict what that thing will be, but no one ever knows. It's not till it shows up. Kind of like the iPhone. We didn't know how much we hated a regular phone until someone came out with something so wonderful, so great, that we were like, oh, I don't even think about a phone that's plugged into a wall, and I'm barely on my actual computer anymore. I have this one device that does it all. It took a visionary. And so for many of you, it's gonna take some visionary that you don't know yet, that's gonna create something that you had no idea about, and it's gonna come out, and you're gonna go, wow, I never saw this coming, but this is so much better. I can't believe we used to watch the Olympics. So do I think the Olympics are gonna go away? No, I think they'll always be there. But I think they're gonna be like the Walmart. They might end up being like the Blockbuster, but I doubt it. But as we can tell, they're already dying. We don't care about them. We don't care about the athletes even anymore. We don't even really remember their names. Like, we used to remember all of the Olympic athletes' names. In track and field, which is a sport that none of us really care about, but during the Olympics, we're crazy about it. But now we're just kind of like, right? Think about that. The Olympics are dead, they're dying, but the hopeful thing is something else is gonna come, and we don't know what that is yet, but I think it's gonna be during our lifetime. And it's gonna replace the pain points that we feel, because I think as nations, we wanna be proud of something. But when you know that most of the athletes are playing a game either you don't care about, or you know they're probably cheating and you don't want to think about whether they're cheating or they're not or why, there's not as much national pride. But I think we want to be proud of something. And so it's coming, we don't know what it is, but the hopeful thing is maybe you're the visionary that comes out with something that replaces this hot mess, which is the Olympics.